Hi, I'm Darren from Infamy, and we're the Infamy Fantasy Esports team. And today we're going to be talking about Battle Royales. Battle Royales have become a hot genre in the gaming community and the esports scene. And I know there are a whole bunch of different ones like Apex Legends, Spellbreak, Project Darwin, Call of Duty Warzone. But they all these games, even though they're like um, put under the same genre, they all have very different mechanics and very unique play experiences to each one of them. So like, what should we start with first?
I guess Fortnite, since that's what our tournament's around right now.
All right, yeah, all right, we can start with Fortnite. So Fortnite is very unique. It's a very unique BR, and like what I was just talking about, that I feel like other BRs, like you were saying, Blake, at some point they get repetitive in the gameplay experience, but Fortnite never gets repetitive. Every game is different, and that's because of the building. And I don't know if you want to like speak on why you think that they're so
I don't
repetitive,
know. I
like,
think I think it's I think it's garbage. I think it's
but
just garbage. The whole thing
the
is this is the problem that I have with VRs as someone who doesn't like VR games. It's the gameplay loop, right? Like Fortnite has a great gimmick, right? You have the building. I
Mhm,
am never gonna take the time to learn all that just because I don't enjoy the game itself that much.
mhm,
But like the gameplay loop for me, so somebody has like a new player, right? Like
mhm.
now, like imagine trying to play it now, like coming into it now as a new player. It's impossible.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
never gonna be able to play this game, right?
yeah. Unless you like
So
actually want to get better at it.
your skill ceiling is way too high, and then the gameplay loop itself eliminates you from being able to learn the game in any kind of expedient way. So you're just like, eventually these games are just gonna burn out. Either people are gonna, like, the people that
Mhm.
are really, even their hardcore audience, right? They're eventually gonna burn out on the game, and they're never gonna get new players. So I feel like they're doomed in a certain aspect to be like, all right, you're never gonna get new blood because your skill ceiling's too high, and then just by necessity of your genre, it's not easy to learn
Mhm.
just because of how quickly you're getting dumpstered on, or
I
at
do.
least in my case.
I agree with you on the skill ceiling part of it, but going back to the gameplay loop, I think the gameplay loop in BRs is what makes the genre so vastly popular, because you have the drop in early game where it's hectic and you're trying to just like scramble for loot and get early game kills, and then it goes into the mid game where you're just running around looting, farming, whatever you're playing the game. But that mid game experience where you I know you hate, like, where you say oh, there's like 10 minutes of running around doing nothing, but like that 10 minutes to a casual player or just a regular player in general is you're just like chatting with your boys, you're shooting the shit, and that's like, I think that is the main
It's like
fun part,
the
because
social
yeah,
aspect
the
to it.
social aspect, like, because when I'll play like random squad fills in Fortnite, you'll have like, yeah, the hectic beginning, and then you'll have the middle where like the people you're talking to, they're like talking about their lives, what's going on, like just shooting the shit with each other, and then it'll just ramp up real quickly when you get into that fight. Like, yeah, it may take 10 minutes, but some people do enjoy that lull in the gameplay where you can just like enjoy being in the game and like away from life and just like talking to your boys. I mean, yeah, you may
I
get like
don't know.
dumpstered instantly
I don't
after.
know what
I feel
game
like
you're playing, but all I'm getting did is screamed at by little Jimmys, like just
I mean
screaming obscenities at me. Like, what?
that I there are those
Where are
people,
your
but from
parents?
from
What
my
am I
experience
doing?
in Fortnite squad fills and like BR squad fills in general, most of the people are like pretty chill, and I think that
But I
just
don't
that
think that's
lends
a
it to.
justification for the genre that it's like, oh,
Yeah,
I
I
get to
think
kick back with random people on the internet.
Yeah,
That's not what you're trying to do when you're
Yeah,
like, I want to
you
play this FPS video game.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
think
saying,
I
I
would
feel like it's
transition
like
this to all
cultivated,
online
it's
games now.
cultivated a community, or like just a gameplay
I mean,
experience
that's a
that like
cool
not a lot of
byproduct,
games
but
have. Yeah.
does that happen in Apex? I don't know, but
I mean,
go ahead, Jake.
Are there bros on
I
Apex?
mean, I think it happens in any of them. It's just like the main difference between Apex and like Fortnite. I feel like it's a lot more static. Like your whole relocate, um, and then kind of hunker down and like curl up in like a little position and hold that, and then just like kind of like keep jiggle peeking people,
In
jousting for
Apex
spots.
or
Yeah, in
Fortnite?
Apex, like Fortnite, it seems like if you watch like the FNCS, like it's a lot more visual clutter because there's just like building mechanics, so you're people all around you. But like Apex, you're kind of glued to more realism, so you're kind of just like holding positions, where Fortnite's a little bit more dynamic, I guess.
Yeah.
What is
I think
realistic about G sliding down a mountain and kicking someone in the mouth? I
cares
get
about
what you're
realism.
saying though. Like the verticality has a lot of different like the movement options that you have in that game really limit your play styles.
Mhm.
Like as like the verticality in Fortnite gives it a lot of variance, but I don't know. I don't think it changes like again the game core gameplay loop where it's like, all right, you drop in, right? You pick your
Mhm.
spot, you have a little skirmish, and then you're running around for 20 minutes looking for shit. Maybe you'll get picked off, maybe you won't, and then you'll play at the end, and then whoever wins wins, right? That's at
Mhm.
least how I see it. I don't know how you guys
Yeah.
see these
No,
games.
that's the early game, mid game, end game. You got it.
Yeah.
But I think battle royale as a genre as a whole, like I think it sets up a unique like storyline for each like
Mhm.
each match, each setting, each experience because okay, it's like oh wow, you get beat out early in the beginning, and even as a new player, it's like okay, wow, I keep getting beat out, but it gives like that catharsis of okay, I got further this time. I made top 50, top 20, whatever.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And once you like get to the end, it makes making it to the end like matter more because
Mhm.
you're climbing over the bodies of all the 100 other fallen people. So it gives like a unique experience of being like, okay, I made it this far. Let's make it to the final push.
Yeah, yeah. And like
Uh,
every kill feels rewarding in a BR in some sense. Like when you like look up and I'll be playing Fortnite and I'll look up and I'll like, oh, I have 8 kills. Like you like I don't know, it just like feels it's like you sent 8 players back to
I
the
just made
lobby.
8 people wait.
It's just yeah, like
I don't
it's
know, man.
like
I
when you
think
know
I might
what's
have like
on.
a personal dichotomy problem with these game types. I got that Ricky Bobby mentality where I'm like, if you're not first, you're last, and I'm never first.
I know I 100% agree because I used to be like a big team deathmatch advocate, but like once I started playing BR, there aren't really any stakes in a life in team deathmatch. So like you're more
Yeah,
likely to just like run out. But
that's
like when you
what's
play
fun about it.
BR, yeah, but I mean, but it's also like an adrenaline rush when you only got one, and it's like it's either all on the line right now, or gone. And
I
I
mean,
feel
did you
like
feel
that's
that
another thing.
way, Blake? Did you feel that way with Gears of War, where you have one life, or is it not as bad because you'll be back in it,
Yeah,
soon
like
enough?
it
Mhm.
didn't matter because you know what? I'm gonna dumpster half the team, and then like these kids have to kill one, so like I'll be back in it. Like I play all these games, I play them like I used to play Destiny, pretty stupid. Also, like I
Mhm.
literally had a move. Wouldn't even use my gun. I would literally run around and I would one shot punch people, and I would like kill like 3v3. I could kill a whole team, no problem. Would I die half the time? Yes, but then I would be back in it, and we would win 2 out of 3 of those because I killed an entire team. I like to play risky, high risk, high reward.
But
BR
that
does
is,
not
but
does
that
not
is
have that.
the BR in like not in the traditional sense, but that's another aspect which are why I think the BR genre is so popular is like the quick games. You go into a game, you'd say you die off spawn, you can be in another game within like 10 seconds. So like is there
That is a bona fide lie. I am a testament to that. I literally sit. Well, I am in loading screens longer than I'm in games.
okay, yeah, my boy may be getting shot out of the air before he even touches the ground. But if you can make it to the ground, I will say that I'll give it longest time for a Fortnite queue in squads is a minute. And that's so you can like be back in like you there's no risk to playing crazy and fast like that, which is why like a lot of people have it against like casuals because like you're in this game, you only have one life, and a lot of people want to just like hide. I know that is a play style that some people may enjoy, but there's you can get in a game so quickly.
Are you saying that you should go outside? There's more to life. You only have one limit. Is that what you're
No.
saying to me right now?
If you
That's
want to
what
look into
Fortnite's trying to teach you.
yeah,
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 Yeah, that's the
that's the
moral of
put
underlying
down
Fortnite.
the controller,
Fortnite.
Blake. Go outside.
But you
Please.
can. There's no reason to not play like that in
Mhm.
Fortnite. Yeah, you may die, but you can get back in the game fairly quickly,
I
and I
mean,
think that's one of the reasons why the audience has
Yeah.
grown
it's
to the way it is.
All right,
Because I,
what do you? I don't know. You can finish your point,
oh
but
yeah, yeah. My last
I feel like we're on this along.
last thing on that point is that like you get into a game, you die, you're in it like you're in a game before you even realize it, and before you know it, you're like 1.5 hours, 2 hours down in a rabbit hole. It really creates a rabbit hole. The queue times for these games. That's my point,
I just
and
have
I think it
one
just
one quick
cultivates a
little anecdote.
addictive
All of them should
audience.
have the kill mic so you can like just either talk shit to the kid you kill, or you can hear them rage on the other end. I think that's the fantastic
okay.
part.
Every
in
game
Warzone.
should have that. Every single game should have that.
Every single online game needs to have a death mic for the enemy.
Yeah.
All right, what do you guys think about like the RNG factor? Because that's a huge put down that a lot of people have about Battle Royale, where it's like, okay, you're just getting screwed because someone got a luckier chest than you, and stuff like that. Or do you feel it evens out more because if you manage to beat someone that with a good gun, you get that gun? And
I can see both sides of that being a BR player, and it does suck sometimes when you like land and someone has like a gold pump one shots you. Yeah, that sucks. But like you said, if you beat that kid with a gold pump with just a pistol, now you're feeling yourself, and it's like, oh yeah, you just got shit on, and I had nothing.
And
yeah,
that's where the
some
death
reverse
mic comes
snowball.
in.
Yeah, and yeah, that's an insane feeling. Like, wow, I just beat this kid who had literally the gods on his side, and I still overcame it. Which is
slayed the Fortnite gods.
which is a unique aspect for the BR esports genre, because should a BR game that's an esport be about who can make the best with what they got, or should it be like everyone has the same thing?
Yeah, I think it's
And
similar to
who's the
poker,
best
where
with-
it's
yeah.
like it's the hand you're dealt and what you do with it.
You're pulling these life morals out of Fortnite. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? It's like, oh, you're saying it's like, yo, everybody's just gotta be happy with what they have and strive for more.
No, but
No,
that's
you gotta
what,
make
that's
Take
what
it
yeah.
from the guy that's got more from you.
that's what some people want the game to be. Like, everyone has there's only 3 weapons: a blue AR, blue shotgun, blue SMG, 2 heal slots. That would be completely boring to watch. There's so much fun in the aspect of, oh man, this kid landed, all he got was a pistol, this kid has a shotgun, is he gonna pull it off and come back from it? Like, I don't know, when everyone has the same thing, yeah, it'll be more balanced on an early game perspective, but like end game, and also like eliminates the whole point of like looting people too, and like getting that upgrade. So yeah, Blake, you being not a fan of BR, what do you think about standard
the
system where
randoms?
you drop in and everyone has a blue AR and a blue shotgun minimum, so that
All
way
right, what if they started with a fucking weapon?
yeah,
Like,
all right, so yeah,
started with a
you start with
pistol?
a weapon.
Like if people complain and everything, but like
Mhm.
if everybody started with a gun, I feel like people would complain a lot less because it's like, all right, I'm getting dumpstered now because I dropped and there were 3 bandages and ammo and mats, and that's all I got in my entire building. So now I have to run out, and this kid has a gun on me, and I'm not gonna be able to play. If you, I would be interested to see how that plays out.
So you're an
That felt
advocate
more
for
prevalent in Apex, where it's just like you would just keep getting weapon add-ons. I haven't played it recently, but it's just like I'm never getting an actual gun. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
cool, these upgrades that I can't kill anyone with. So
That's
I'm
one of the
just
reasons why I stopped playing Apex, is that there should never just be an attachment spawn. There should be a weapon that correlates with that attachment next to it. Maybe like you can alternate, instead of this gun having ammo, it has a sick attachment, or
But
like
Blake, do
it
you think
has ammo.
that the RNG is a big part of like the gameplay loop that's so appealing to people because it's a little like a gamble every time you go? Like, what am I gonna get? Am I gonna
Each game is a
maybe
little
it's something
different.
sweet this time?
Yeah.
I think that's a large part of the appeal of it now. I just don't think that anybody has really either executed or figured out how to do it without the ARG. They're kind of just cloning everybody else. I would be interested to see a gameplay loop where it wasn't based on RNG. Same drop mechanics, same everything else. But like,
But
What
you
then
have
how,
you have that with Warzone.
Yeah, I was gonna bring
Because
that up.
Warzone, you drop in with a pistol, and you've played that when
And
you're
then
talking.
and then there's
I
the
thought that
gulag
was a lot more
system.
fun. The only problem is the Call of Duty community. I just don't like these kids camping on rooftops the whole time. I can't see them.
Well, that just goes back to the play style Darren brought up earlier. It's like it's just one life. You're gonna spend like 10 minutes on a rooftop and call that fun.
But that's what these kids are doing most of the time. It's pretty funny. It's really funny actually. But like I don't know. I think that like that type of game, I feel like they would do better with smaller maps and less people, just
Call of
because
Duty.
just
Call of
to
Duty has
eliminate
like 150 people in the lobby.
It's a huge map. We haven't even like gone to like most of it because we just go to the 2 spots where there's the most people every time.
Yeah, but that's what's fun, you know. Like, and like that's kind of what my point is. Like, why I don't like these games is I spend a lot of time running around. I want to be in the act. I'm like more of an instant action type of person, and why I like those more structured games. Like, I don't think the RNG really affects me as much. I'm kind of just gonna make it happen with what I got, but like it kind of eliminates. Like, I don't see any good examples of it being done without the RNG, right?
I like I like games like Realm Royale, or I haven't played it, but Call of Duty Warzone, where you have an option to kind of cash out and buy something that you actually want, like
the loot drop,
where you
the loadout drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
that's an
just some way to
mechanic.
amass money to buy an actual weapon that you want, instead of just like, here's hoping, because that's not fun to be like, I hate this gun. This is the 5th game in a row I haven't gotten a single gun.
Realm still had RNG in that too. Like, you would craft your epic or whatever legendary weapon, and sometimes you'd get that shitty crossbow. Sometimes you get that that bow with the freeze or the fire.
Bow.
Yeah,
the frost bow. Yeah.
But then at the same time, these kids will have the triple dink spear staff and just hide up top and fly around thinking they're cool.
Yeah, I didn't like that aspect of it, where it's like, okay, just let me buy what I like. I earned all these little shards, I killed people and collected boxes and shit, and just let me buy what I want.
Okay. So I mentioned this before we started recording, but what if it was like more, if there's a system of more like a RPG system, like a skill tree, where like you just go in, you start off, maybe there's some variants, like you get a pistol, you can choose between a pistol, some melee weapon, but you get like a little speed boost when you swing at it, or like something else. But as you kill, you have like a pre-selected loadout, and as you like kill or pick up little shards to kind of like in Realm, that was just the master allowing you to unlock different parts of your loadout. So like if you get enough kills, you can unlock your AR or the shotgun or your sniper or whatever. So you're not running around just looking and like, oh, I found nothing while this kid gets a pump.
That, I think Spellbreak kind of has a system like that. It's not weapon based, it's ability based. But yeah, that'd be super interesting to see if there ever was a BR. I mean, there could be one out there that I don't personally.
Do you think that'd be broken though, where it's like you just go for the best build every time, and it kind of
then you
think
get into like those kinds of problems where like
there's
a meta to the builds. Anytime you have like some kind of
but
option,
then there's metas in every game. There's metas.
I know. I'm just saying, but is that going to be a completely different problem where now your BR isn't unique because like, oh man, everyone runs it's like Spellbreak, for example, everyone runs fire build because fire build's the best. Like, what's the point?
Well, I mean, that was just bad game design, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, there's a reason that fire is better than everybody else.
I don't know personally if that's the best thing in Spellbreak. It's anyone who's a fan of Spellbreak, but I'm just using that as an example. Like, you get those aspects where it's like everyone's they're gonna find out that this one's better than everything else by a slight margin, and now everyone you're going up against is using the cheap thing.
Yeah, of course, but like also too, going back to what Jake was saying, there's a couple of ways of even doing that too with like a loadout system. Like, you can do it based on like how there are stages of maps. You can do it based on how long you survive. You can do it based on kills. You can do it based on XP, where you can combine all of those different things. I think that will just get people, because like, think about it. Like, the really thing that I don't like about the AR, the RNG aspect of it is I get guns that I don't want to use, and now I'm fucking bored the entire map. Like, I'm stuck with like a sniper, and like for Fortnite, I'm stuck with like a sniper and the bandage bazooka, and this is what I got for the whole game. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, how am I gonna pull out the win on this one?
Yeah, well, that's why I like Realm, where it's you could just destroy that and destroy a weapon you don't want and turn it into currency. And if it was a good weapon that you didn't want, you'd get more, and then you could spend that ideally in a less RNG way. But
break down those hammers every time.
I think that's what a lot of these games need, is an aspect where you can eventually, like, if you're late game, you should be able to have the weapon that you want. Like, you have all these different type of play styles built into your game, right? And there are people that prefer different ones over one or the other, right?
Yeah.
You should be able to have it, I think, at the end of the game, what your preferred play style is if you're doing well, right?
Yeah.
But does that like destroy like the ethos of the game, like what Darren was saying before, where it's like you get what you get and you gotta make it work, or you're not the best at this game
And yeah,
because
I've
like it's not
then you're
called being the
changing
best
the
at your
genre.
weapon.
Point.
I think Fortnite is a bad example. I've never been at the end of Fortnite, like at like final like round, like I don't have enough weapon
You should
right
have
now.
something by then.
But yeah,
Yeah,
by the
right.
time you
Like
get to the end of the
I've
game,
never gotten that far. I'm like, okay, I don't have like, okay, maybe I don't have the fucking gold version of every fucking gun,
but you have
but
at
like
least
I have a
Mhm.
sniper, I have a machine gun, I have a shotgun, and I have some heal items also.
You're not
Like
Sal. Yes.
I'm there. It's just I just didn't get to pick the ones that I wanted, and like in that type of game, there isn't enough variance between the guns where like I'm gonna have a favorite gun. Like obviously you're gonna have a preferred loadout, but it's
Mhm.
not like something like Call of Duty where I have
Or,
a
like,
specific gun that I want to have and I'm going to lock that into a loadout so I can
Yeah.
use my loadout thing, you know? Like that game just plays a little bit different. And I
Yeah.
think the simplicity in that game is why its RNG works so well. It's because everybody can use all of those guns.
Yeah.
You know, they're all viable.
And no, I agree. And Fortnite has tried to address that. There's a upgrading table, and you can side grade weapons. So like if you get a heavy assault rifle, you can change that into a regular assault rifle. I think that's the only weapon that you can side grade right now. But they are working on creating out a system where you can change. Like say you get an attack shotgun, and you prefer the pump shotgun. You can change your tack into a pump. That's like the vision of the system. So they are working on addressing those issues, but I don't think there's enough variance in the guns for Fortnite. Like yeah, attack is rapid fire, and a pump shotguns there's a delay in between shots.
Yeah,
But
they're basically all
but
the
they're
same
basic.
gun.
But at the end of the day, it's like a shotgun. It's not like Call of Duty, like you said. But another thing I just thought of, like another topic. How do you guys feel about skill-based matchmaking in these games? Because Blake, when you play with me, I'm not the best Fortnite player, but I do play Fortnite frequently. And when you play with me, your games are severely different than what your
Oh
games would
man,
be when
I'm
you play by
level like
yourself.
4.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly. So
literally
like
level
when you
4.
play with me, your games are you're going up against players around my skill who can like build effectively, and they're not going to be essentially noobs. So how do you feel about like that RNG aspect of the game? Do you think
And I
it should
also want
be
to
just
throw in, I wanted to bring this up before kind of, but the idea of having bots in as well for newer players,
yeah,
like Realm Royale did.
yeah.
So I
So
think it
do you
might be a
think
little
your
less
gameplay
a
experience
crucible.
being a lesser experienced BR player, would you rather skill-based matchmaking so that when you're playing by yourself, you play against people who are your level, or would you rather there just be randoms all the time? So when you play with me, you don't have to worry about kids sweating all the time.
Okay, two things. One, to Steve's point, it depends on how good the bots are. If I can farm the bots and like that gives me an advantage in that game, no bot. But
Mhm.
That's usually
if
how it goes.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
The
That's how
bots are
that goes.
usually free kills in
Yeah,
Realm
that's
Fortnite. You just
kind
see
of
them
what
and
it
you're like, oh, that had to be a bot, or I feel bad
For
for
some
that
reason
kid.
they're always like running into a wall. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
The
Like
straight
they
lines.
have
Like
to have a certain level of like ability or like scalable ability, like
I
what you were saying.
I
Like there needs to
understand.
be like depending on your game, right? Like you don't want to fucking I don't want to be playing with pro players at level 4 or 1. I also don't want to be playing with something that's running into a wall. You know, everybody wants like that perfect game style,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
I'm sure there's a blend in between. But if they had quality bots, I really think that like having that as a mode would be good. Should that be in there to fill out like what Realm Royale was doing was to fill out their lobbies? Um, Maybe. I mean, it depends on how good they are.
I
But
think
like
that
as
was
far
kind
as
of their
playing
only
with kids
option.
that are higher level of you, of course you don't want to play kids that are higher level with you, or at least that higher level of you, that where you're getting fucking immediately dumpstered. You don't want to play with that. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Why would you ever want to play that? Because then then you're gonna get burnt out of the game way quicker. Because now there are kids doing 360 scopes on you, and like you're just
It's
like,
more
what the
it's
hell is
more so
happening?
to cultivate the solo experience, but I think that removes itself from the BR genre because I think what the foundation of it was like if you look at like early content creation for Fortnite, it's about like squads and like chilling with your boys and you like having fun with your boys and then like you run into a squad and you shoot it out, winner takes all. And I think when you have a skill-based matchmaking system, now it alienates your lower tier players because like if you want to play with me, you're gonna get fucked on
Okay,
all game.
okay. What if what I can test then that Rust is a BR by your by your explanation because it just yeah, you and your boys out in the woods and like some people would come.
You fuck shit up and then you go back to chilling. Yeah.
Yeah, like oh my god, like what if there was like a persistent like BR like that? Like it's like, all right, you beam onto an island and it's like a 2-hour game, and you just have to fucking like Civ 5 this shit
Then
up.
you're gonna come across those
Subjugate
kids
or
hiding
die.
in the back nonstop.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The higher you raise the stakes
Yeah, these
of the
kids
game,
are hiding in
they'll-
corners with there's
in
no
like games that
stakes.
they can get a game in like 1 minute. Like queue time is 1 minute, and
Nah,
these
you
kids are
gotta
hiding in a bush for
survival
20.
elements, and they gotta starve. Now they gotta go out for food, and now you're hunting them at the watering hole. Like that's
Eating
what
their
I'm looking
flesh.
for in a VR. There's no like I get the survival of the fittest mentality that it's based on, but it's not executed on well. Where's my survival VR? That's what I want to see next.
Well, Darwin's project has an element that where if you're in a zone where it's like winter, you can freeze to death, so you're gonna have to get a coat.
Yeah, like I
some
just
fur.
think that the maps have to be way smaller if you're gonna like actually do that, because like you need interactions, right? Like my problem with a lot of BRs is that there's not a lot of interaction except like late game and early game and getting sniped from across the map. So like that's all the interaction you're getting for most of these. Like I liked how like I like beginning of the game BR because you can literally beam into where everybody's dropping in and you can get some engagement. But like, I mean, a lot of kids also go the other route and like to fucking get a whole bunch of items and then try to play late game. But
But don't get
particularly that game,
there's
I'm not-
nothing wrong with that playstyle, Blake. Like there's no one's saying you can't. Like if you play Fortnite or any BR, you can just like consistently go in the game, land where everyone lands, and like clear
Yeah,
out
the
the
problem
area
is
or
that the
die and then
gameplay
move to the
loop-
next one. Like
gameplay
that's
loop literally supports those types of. And I want to
what
see something
hot
break
dropping.
that mold.
But all right, so I'm glad you brought that up. Fortnite added creative mode, and creative mode allowed you to practice, get more experience with weapons, and I 100% believe that is what led to the giant skill gap jump, because before creative mode, all you had to learn new techniques was YouTube videos and
In-game
and Twitch
experience.
streams. And Twitch streams and in-game experience. And once you learned those things, the only time you could implement them was in a live game, live scenario. Now you have this mode where you can practice, and it just whoever can practice the longest is the best. So you said that there should be a mode where you can have a set amount of time, but when you add that to a BR game, then you get people who just are going to take advantage of it.
Are you taking a stance against practicing?
Yeah.
I'm not taking a stance against practicing. I'm saying
5 minutes ago, and now you're like, nope, you can't be practicing.
I'm not saying I'm not taking a stance against practicing. I'm saying once you enable that in a game where some people can just like hop in for an hour a day, the kids who can practice will take it to the next level and like expand that skill gap immensely.
No,
So
what I was saying before was that it incentivizes kids that drop where there aren't a lot of people because they're not going to take any damage and there's not going to be a lot of people to collect the loot around them. Like to your point about practicing, yeah, did Fortnite fucking the skill ceiling raise significantly once people could practice? Of course. And it's ridiculous now, and like that's why I don't like the game. But like just
That's also why a lot of people do like the game, because it's so elevated now.
It's evolved over much over the course of the game, and
it
why
might not still be around if people were still just like la di da walking around.
I mean,
using jump pads to jump into bases that giant teams are building together. Like, fuck is that,
bro? It was fun when we like first started playing Fortnite in like season 1, and we were like on the side of that mountain. I will never forget this. When we were on the side of that mountain, we were just like, oh shit, we can build a base off the cliff and no one will see us. That was like peak Fortnite, just like complete fun, and we're like on the side trying to like build this bullshit base so that no one can see us and like we can snipe at people. That was like fun, but now you don't have that because kids just like practice, and it would be an interesting world to
towers
see.
in seconds.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see where the game would be at if there wasn't a practice mode. I think it would still be at that level where people could
still be dead. I think it would be dead.
It'd be more of like what the devs originally intended it to be, just like building bases and just shooting at each other from your base.
that is what, if you look at, like, when you look at competitive Fortnite, people say it's boring, but that's what the devs intended for the game. Like, people building bases, sitting in them, and then shooting at each other. So it's it's weird to think that the thing that people criticize Fortnite for the most is like what the devs intended it for being like a slow paced game where you like hide in a base and shoot at people. But that, like, when you look at like the fucking cover art for Fortnite, it's like guys in a base shooting at another group of guys in a base.
Yeah, well, again, like that's what I'm saying, and what my problem is with the core gameplay loop with these games are
Mhm.
like a lot of it is like that game in particular has a unique quirk where they didn't need to build out buildings. You could build them yourselves and build your own base, and I think that that's fun. But a lot of these games are also people just camping out, waiting for somebody to
Yeah.
come by, take a pot shot at them, then move on as the cloud as the storm encloses you. You're forced to move, and why they have that
Mhm.
system in, right?
I we were
Is it a problem with the first person shooter community is just a bunch of campers and they don't like to have fun,
yes.
or like that's just a ubiquitous style or a strategy that is incentivized in these games, like what I was saying before with like not dropping near people
Mhm.
is a better strategy.
Yeah.
I think there's
But then
just an inherent problem.
aren't things like turbo building kind of like help alleviate that? Because now you can get in there, you can build your cover as you're
That
coming
was
in and
gonna be
closing
that
the
was
gap.
I was just gonna bring that point up because Jake and I were playing Call last night, and we're in a situation where Jake died. I'm bringing him back, and we're at the shopping cart, and there are three teams.
Hmm.
All three teams are camping, and me and Jake are pincered by these teams. And you're put in a situation. They have snipers, long range guns. It's Call of Duty. You can shoot from across the map. Where there's literally nothing we can do. Like Fortnite, if we were playing Fortnite, you could build yourself cover to like get into the zone, but
Vehicles.
there or vehicle, but like vehicles can be exploded
We
fairly
were in a
quickly.
spot like out in, I think it was the airport, where we're basically, there's just like a few things, a few small objects as cover, but we're basically out in the middle of a field, and we got three teams shooting at us all from different
And you
directions.
But
just like
that's
you're
why
put in
you
this
don't go into the middle of the field, but
but
also
I
like I
mean, you
get what
act
you're
like
saying though, like
classic BRs,
sometimes you get fucked.
you get put in these situations where there's no hope, and like that's one of the things that building in Fortnite alleviates. Yeah, it might be super extreme with turbo building, but there's never a situation. I always tell Jake this, when the reason why I like playing Fortnite is because if you look back at it, there's always something you could have done a little bit better, or a move you could have made to get yourself out of that situation, as opposed to like that situation. There's really nothing we could have done. There's three teams on us. We're pincered, and there's no cover. You just die at that point.
So what do you guys think about the different like gimmicks that make each battle royale its own thing, and how do you see the future of battle royales going? Where is this genre going to get played out entirely, or are new gimmicks going to keep bringing fresh takes that make its keep refreshing the genre?
I don't know. The one that I enjoy the most is Apex. I don't know. I just like the class abilities.
Is it kind of like because it's like a hero shooter more
It's
like?
somewhat like
Yeah,
a hero shooter, like the skin of a hero shooter, but it's like,
it's
I don't
yeah.
I don't know.
I wish there was more emphasis on abilities in Apex. That's my whole thing with it. Or the abilities were more impactive, and that's like my same thing with Valorant. I wish the abilities had more impact on the gameplay itself. And I think games where you can like combine abilities and like make team comps similar to Overwatch are offer a lot more versatility and longevity.
Yeah, synergies.
Yeah. Synergies, yeah.
Mhm.
And I thought Apex was gonna have that, but like when Apex first came out, like Gibraltar was dog shit because he puts up a shield that you can't shoot out of. What is the point? You're just put in that situation that I was just talking about with Jake. We like you put down a shield and now you're just like, all right, we're
Well,
sitting here.
well, now you can, but like
But yeah,
everyone
now
we
you can,
played
but like
with that who picked that kid would just die first immediately. But that's besides the point. I don't know. I just like the flow of it. I don't know. I just liked how the abilities felt. I thought they were pretty fun. I think Caustic is just a cool character, even though he's like kind of dog shit, but just like coming for it and just like letting these kids die in the gas, I think is phenomenal.
Wow. My favorite was Realm Royale I think it just because of the horses, like the
yeah,
fact that
yeah.
I don't have to be like jogging along. I can just spawn a
And you
horse
could
wherever
just
I
like
want
Hmm.
and move around the map a lot easier and just get into the action. So there's like less downtime, and also looting doesn't just have to be like, oh wow, I got a crappy gun. It means something because you can break it
You
down
can
to
break it
shards
down to
to
shards and get
I
stuff.
get
feel
stuff
like
you
that
want.
one the camping wasn't as much of a problem just on the map design. There wasn't as many like small areas for these kids to hide in. Yeah, that
Yeah, movement abilities as well.
Yeah.
Helped.
hmm And that's what a lot of these BRs don't have. Like Apex doesn't really have movement abilities outside of
G
what's his
spot.
name?
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder, and I'll even give it to Wraith with her teleport in her portal. But when you don't have movement abilities, it incentivizes the camping playstyle.
Oh, shit, what
Well,
game is it? You know, they
but
have
then
that
you have
slide move, right? You can
yeah, you can
continually
slide, but
slide
that's
downhill,
downhill.
right?
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
There's
then
a game.
that's
I do
And
not
there's
know
light
the name
parkour.
of the game, but there is a game where you can literally like skate across the map with like your like slide move. I cannot remember what the
that's
name
spell
of the
break.
game is. What?
Isn't
No,
that spell break? You just put down
no,
the
no.
ice
It's an
and you can
older
skate.
game. It's like God, what? It's like a free to play game now on PlayStation, but it is amazing. You can literally G slide across. I'm like, that's what these games need to implement. Like something where it's like you can, with skill, you can move quickly through maps, or something where they need to add some more movement ability because like you're way too slow. You're a sitting duck for most of it, and it incentivizes this campy ass play style where it's not that fun to play.
I don't think it's mainly just like I think you need the movement ability, not so much like actual vehicles. I don't think that really dictates campy playstyles. You need like cards, like you need some more reactionary aspects besides just like being able to hit a quick flick every 2 seconds. Otherwise, that's more just a straight up FPS. That's why Realm had those kind of felt the way it did with those abilities. Like you could like
yeah.
do your little roll. You could do like one person would do his
Flank on
leap.
the horse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, because like even when like someone had the high ground on was like trying to top of a mountain, you were never really too concerned about it because you could get to them fairly quickly with your horse, your abilities, you leap like Jake said. And I think that is a great aspect. But then when you take it to the next extreme, they're gonna be kids who are gonna just get fucking crazy at those abilities. And now you have a kid who can just like beam in on you and destroy you instantly.
Yeah,
Which
there's
is like
some.
what Fortnite was at like the end of chapter 1. There was so much movement and so many crazy abilities that like you could literally just get like launchpad rifted on, like just a kid just like blinks in on you and you're fucking dead pretty much. And that they like eased it back a little bit. But when you add those abilities, there are always going to be those players who are going to take advantage of them and they're going to make your game experience not fun. So I think
Yeah, well, you
that's
can
why
also add
developers stay away from it.
defensive abilities as well, like
Mhm.
like Realm had like heals and stuff like that, and some
Yeah.
escape moves. So there's you just gotta counterplay it out.
hmm
Yeah, no, I just think that these games need to have like they all have their own flavor, but I feel like they don't really change anything about the core gameplay loop,
Mm-hmm.
like any of it. Like
So,
yeah,
sorry.
like Fortnite, I think is the closest one to it, where with the building, it
Mhm.
kind of at least changes the campy play style that most of these games have, right?
A new style of camping.
Yeah, because that's like your problem with all the other BR campy, and then your problem with Fortnite is like some kid's just gonna fucking rush you, and there's
Well,
nothing you
no,
can.
it's not even that. I'm just bad at Fortnite, and I just don't like it for that aspect.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't build. So like
Yeah,
they
but
fixed it
like
with building. It's just that is not the option that I would
You
go
would
for
rather be sliding
personally.
in on your knees with shotguns out.
Yeah, that's what I want to blow out your kneecaps. That's what I want. I want to be able to rush you and blow out your kneecaps. That's all I want. That's how
Mhm.
I play every game.
So kind of like moving off, progressing off that point. Do you think there will be another BR game that comes in and kind of like changes the scene, or do you think that if like another company, say like Blizzard or some Riot, makes a BR game, do you think they would be able to make it so that it's a game changer? Otherwise, like kind of keep bringing light, like a new life into the scene, kind of how COD is doing right now. Even though it's not really like breaking the mold, but it's just like a ton of fun, just like the gameplay and like the flow of it's really smooth. Do you think there will be another one that will just bring a whole new like secondary mechanic into the BR genre to like kind of
They have to bring something that's not just a gimmick. Like
yeah,
the great thing about Call of Duty is the gulag. The
yeah,
gulag system really changes the way the game plays because you get a fucking respawn. What other BR do you get a respawn in? None.
Well, yeah,
And you can bring your
do get
boys
a
back.
respawn. Like you can bring your boys back in. What
Yeah,
is
but
it,
you can like
realm?
pay
But
for it.
like
So like if
you
you're
have to pay
doing
for
well
it.
as a team, but
Yeah.
like in solos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There was no coming back. That changes the game completely.
So like a zero threat or danger level respawn if your boy actually is nice and wins his 1v1. Like threat for the rest of your teams. Like in the other ones, you have to like go to a certain spot and res them, where you're put in like
Mhm.
a
Yeah,
position to
you're
get
put
like
in a shitty
yeah,
position.
shitty position. So, but that one's like the other teammates are independent. And your boy just wins and drops back in.
Yeah, you have to go into a show 'em what you got. So you got to be good also, because if you're losing, you're not going to win. You're not coming
Yeah.
back. So it doesn't
It's
matter.
a skill earned revive, and then like if you do lose the gulag, your boys can still buy you back. It's not like you lose.
Yeah.
So like you
Mhm.
have like essentially 2 chances at being brought back, and that alleviates a lot of the oh man, I just beamed and waited, like Blake said, waited through all these loading screens just to get sent back to the lobby,
Yeah.
which
So
is
Yeah, but like
nice.
it also like the good thing about it too is it keeps more players on the map for longer. Also,
Mhm.
like you have some games in Fortnite where a lot of people died early,
Yeah,
and now
like
you
yo,
haven't seen anybody
first circle,
until
there'll
the
be
end
10
of the
people
game.
left.
Until the end of the game, like
Uh,
it does change up the way that the game works a lot. And if the next company that makes a BR just reskins something, they're gonna die in a week because it's gonna be boring. It's like we've seen this before. There needs to be something that changes up the gameplay loop.
And I will give
In
that to Call of Duty that the gulag is something that I mean I would never would have thought of in 1,000 years, and it's very unique. But
They have a
yeah,
lot of
to
different
yeah,
mechanics too.
to
Like
your
the bounty
yeah,
system, I thought was really interesting because now it's showing me where there's a person I can kill, so I can go get them. Like
and you
most
get
of the
more
time
money
in
for it.
PRs, I also have a hard time finding assholes because they're hiding. Where are they at?
The
Bring them here.
rooftops.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but to the point of wanting to be able to find people, what is it doesn't that like steps away from the whole point now? Like that's like part of the genre itself. Searching for people like and then finding them, and killing them. Like you don't want to have some kind of mechanic where you can just see everyone at all times. Like Call of Duty offers UAV, and Jake and I were playing last night, and every 2 seconds, like once kids when we first started playing the game, this wasn't a problem, but like now that it's been a couple weeks, every 2 seconds a team has a UAV online. So like, what is the point of even like someone can see you at all times essentially because like a UAV costs $3,000. $2,000 is hard to get, and it just gives you sights on the whole map. Why wouldn't you just have that running constantly? Now you're
what do
just
you
in a
think about
situation.
the heartbeat tracker? I don't know what it's called, but I found
Yeah,
that interesting
I
mechanic.
think that's like unique because you have to have a gun where you can attach it, but the UAV system annoying. Now you have kids who can just see you at all times, and not just one group of kids. The multiple groups can be running UAVs.
You
So now
should
you
be
have
able to
multiple.
shoot them out of the sky, so they're not as good.
I mean, I haven't tested. Maybe you can do it. Every other call you can shoot UAVs out of the sky if you have a certain kind of rocket
So like
launcher.
the crypto kind of UAV in
Mhm.
Apex, where he like deploys one, but you can actually destroy it, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah, I think UAVs are completely busted in the BR genre. You can just see everyone who's in your area, and that's
Yeah,
a
it's
huge
great.
advantage.
Yeah,
Huge
it's great.
advantage.
Good. I want to come for you. I'm tired of you hiding
Oh
in a
yeah,
building.
it's fun until you're the kid who's like getting hunted by
Oh no,
three
I'm ready.
teams.
I'm right here.
do you
Come
do you think
for
there
me.
should be a
I was
risk to
playing,
running
I
it?
was playing with solos, and I got a bounty on me, and there were like someone's hunting you, and there were like 3 kids. So it was like, okay, I was running around. I could see like I saw one kid on the map, so I was running away from him so I could like because I need to go get ammo.
Mhm.
Pressed up in a building. He waited for him to come up the stairs, blew his brains out, kick open the door. 2 kids rolled up on a fucking like a quads, killed one, lost to the other one, and then I played the same kid in the gulag. I'm like, I want them to see me because I want to be able to play the game. I'm tired of the worst part of these games for me are like there needs to be downtime, obviously,
Mhm.
but when 90% of your gameplay is looking and running, you need to change something about it, right?
Mhm.
Like, like that's what I feel like the newer BRs need to facilitate is more interaction between players.
But it's working, you know. It's been working for a while, and I think
Mhm.
I wonder how long you can do this, but I think at this point all you do really need is a new gimmick or like a new like kind of core element to your personal equipment or whatever, like powers, abilities, movements, is something like the equivalent of building in Fortnite to give it its own flair, because people that aren't Blake don't seem to have a problem with this genre as is.
Yeah, and just
Final thoughts,
expanding on
people.
just expanding on that point, I think the ultimate BR is gonna be a BR with hero mechanics
Hmm.
that are synergizable. Like I thought that's what Apex was gonna be. You can combine like you have like they have it kind of with like Banglador and what's his
Spellbreak.
name? No, Apex
I know,
Bloodhound.
with
but I'm saying
Banglador and yeah, but yeah, Spellbound is more like solo mechanics. Like you can make throw a gas cloud, then light it on fire and ignite it. I'm talking about like you have like team-based mechanics where using Banglador and Bloodhound as an example, you throw the smoke grenade and then you have a character that can see through smoke. Like more stuff, like more interactive stuff like that, and make your team synergies. Now you're bringing together that team aspect of the BR along with the looter shooter aspect. And so like if you get a shitty gun, all right, well I know my playing this character and we can pull this move off and it won't be as shitty
so. Make
when you
Shadowrun a battle royale.
Yeah.
Shadowrun Battle Royale.
MLG demo
Take
VR.
take away from the RNG by incentivizing it with team mechanics, and I think that'll fix it for a lot. Because like yeah, you may get a shitty hand on landing, but now if you and your team play it right, you can still pull it off, and that's like what I think the next step for the BR genre is. And those are my final thoughts. Anyone else wanna?
Anything
I
from
think
you two?
my point was not that they. I think that's facilitating more interactions between players as a gameplay mechanic, not as like, oh, they just need to have more fights in it, right? I
Mhm.
think that if your gimmick facilitates more fights, I think you'll get a lot more of the audience, because it'll be more fun to play every time versus like something like
Hmm.
where you're like, okay, I have a lot of downtime. You won't get burned out as quickly, and I think that that's what like this genre has matured very quickly. I think to really cut out your niche, you're going to either need to have something where it completely changes the gameplay loop, or is more high octane, so you can get more of your casual audience, just to carve out a niche. That's what my whole point was.
Well, Fortnite does have the what's it, the storm surge system, where it's like you have to do
Yeah,
X amount of damage by a certain amount of time, otherwise you just die. So it kind of
yeah.
kind of punishes people who are just hiding and just like trying to just sneak their way into the late game. So there is that. I think that's a cool idea and
They're
concept.
definitely thinking about these things for sure.
And I think it's going to be interesting to see into the future how they keep this genre fresh, because
Mhm.
it is new, but it's also like at the same time you have these monolithic games. Let's see how they keep themselves fresh, and then
Mhm.
how they can how new games can actually take those lessons and turn them into something more interesting.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Yeah. So that's it for us this week. Join our fantasy Fortnite tournaments at infamy.gg. Join our Discord, and we will see you next time.